talking about rectangles. We have two ways to measure a rectangle in order to compare them. One way is by measuring the space on the inside.
So area?
Measuring a space on the inside. We have a specific word for when we do this kind of measuring. What is it called when I'm measuring the inside of a shape? In this case, a rectangle. Mason? It's not perimeter. Shelby? Area. Area is measuring on the inside. We can also measure around the shape. When we measure the distance around the shape, that also has a special name. What is that called? Nathan? Perimeter. Called perimeter.
Do you have 6 sentences on the marketing thing? Because I'm having now.
Are these two types of measurements measuring the same thing?
No.
No, they are not measuring the same thing. Well, it looks like you got some writing to do. Those are two different things. Measuring the inside is different than measuring the outside. I always go back to our fence problem. Putting up a fence all the way in the inside doesn't make any sense. But putting a fence around the outside of your yard makes complete sense. Those are two different things. We need to be careful which one we're doing. Do we want all of the stuff on the inside, or do we just want what's around? Give you a few more minutes. I think we'll be still writing. It was on the EOG practice one that you took the other day. Not very many of you got it right. So we're going to take some seconds to go through it. This was a practice question on the practice EOG that you took on Tuesday. Not very many of you got it right, so we're going to take some time to do it together. It says Ellen is comparing two rectangles. Rectangle P is 5 inches long and 1 inch wide. Rectangle Q is 4 inches long and 2 inches wide. Which statement correctly compares areas and perimeters? That's a lot. That's a lot of words. When I look closely at that question, I see that we are comparing. We know what that word means. We're trying to tell what's similar, what's different. I'm comparing areas and perimeters. Did it tell me the area of the shape? No. Did it tell me the perimeter of the shape? No. So how am I going to figure out an area and a perimeter if it didn't even tell me an area or a perimeter? How am I even going to solve it? This is probably why many of us didn't get this one right. So if you are not paying attention with your body, you might want to do that. How am I going to figure out what the area and perimeter even is? Harper?
You can actually do it because it has length and width.
It has our dimensions. And if we've got our dimensions, I can figure it out. Let's draw rectangle P. Rectangle P just means that's what they've named that rectangle. Draw a rectangle in your notebook. I'm going to draw mine right here. And I'm going to write the letter P on the inside because that's rectangle P. Rectangle P has specific dimensions. It is 5 inches long and 1 inch wide. Go ahead and label 5 inches long and 1 inch wide. Now that I know that, can I use that information to figure out the area of rectangle P?
Yeah.
How would I figure out the area? I don't have any squares there. Because I know with area I count squares, but I don't have any squares, so how am I going to solve that? Glenn, how would I solve it?
The area or the perimeter?
So let's pause whatever other things we're doing because we're not listening to my question.
Okay, area. With the area, you can do 5 times 1.
How do you know that?
Because, the area is 5 inch by 1 inch, so that's times 1.
Yeah. Why? How can I do 5 times 1? Why is it not 5 plus 1?
Because that's perimeter.
It's not perimeter.
Well, you do, for perimeter, you do 5 plus 5 plus 1 plus 1. But for the inside, you have to do, 5 because, like, area, and like arrays and stuff.
It's an array and stuff. It is an array. We can imagine it is a 5 by 1 array. So I can write out to the side, which means you were writing out to the side. 5 times 1 area array equals 5. There's my area.
What's S?
That's a 5. It just looks funny because of how small I'm having to write.
What do you
Great.
have? Small, there's no space.
Yeah, I don't have that space. I know my area. How do I solve for the perimeter? How do I do that? I should see like every hand in the air. This is not a trick question. How do I solve for perimeter? How do I solve for perimeter? Write them.
You have 5 plus 5 and 1 plus 1.
Brandon, why are you adding 5 plus 5 plus 1 plus 1? Where do those numbers come from?
There's a 5 on top, and then you can't see it, but there is a 5 on the bottom.
Love that.
And then there's a 1 on one side, on the other side there's not, but they're actually.
Can you put those on my table, please? Thank you. Yeah, so Brayden says, hey, even though the dimension is written on one side, I know that the opposite side for a rectangle is going to be the same length. And to find the perimeter, I just need to add up all those lengths. What is 5 plus 5 plus 1 plus 1? Raise your hand to tell me. Victor?
It's 9.
It's not 9.
Oh, I didn't know there was 10.
5 plus 5 plus 1 plus 1.
Wait, 5 plus 5? I thought it was 5 plus 6.
5 plus 5. 5 plus 5 plus 1 plus 1. Those are all of our sides. We add them all up.
I already knew. Well,
12. Thank you.
wait, I'm not wrong.
So there is our perimeter. My perimeter word got a little squished. Harper? You got it? Alright, so there is rectangle P. Figure out rectangle P. What about rectangle Q though? Let's draw another rectangle. I'm going to put Q on the inside because this is now rectangle Q. Rectangle Q has different dimensions.
Drawing a cube equals the same.
What are the dimensions of rectangle Q? 7, what are the dimensions? 4 inches and 2 inches. Label your dimensions. We need to do the same thing. We still need to know the area and the perimeter. I'm going to give you some seconds to solve for both. If you've got both, just give me a secret thumb. I'm going to give everybody a chance to work it out. That is for area and perimeter. I already labeled my rectangle Q right there. Once you've solved and you've got the area and perimeter, give me a secret thumb. Secret. All right, Lynn, can you figure out the area?
I got the perimeter.
Okay. Well, let's start with the area first, though, because you have a secret thumb up. That's something you have both. Keep thinking about that area. We need to get that area in there, too. Bella, you got the area? When we're thinking about area, we're thinking about an array. So think about a 4 by 2. Ashlyn, you got the area? It is 8. 4 by 2 would be an area of 8. What about the perimeter? What about the perimeter? How would I solve for perimeter, Logan?
The perimeter is 12.
Perimeter is 12. Can you tell me the equation you used?
4 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2 equals 12.
4 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2 equals 12. Now that we've got our 2 rectangles and we know the area and perimeter, now we can start looking at our answer choices. Yes? Okay, hang on to that for right now. So our answer choices read, the rectangles have equal areas and rectangle P has a greater perimeter. Do they have the same area?
No.
Do they have the same area? No. No, well, this one says they have equal areas. Is that true?
No.
So is A going to be a good answer?
No.
What about B? The rectangles have equal areas?
No. Yeah. No.
Do they have equal areas?
No.
No. Rectangle P had an area of 5. Rectangle Q had an area of 8. Not a good answer. The rectangles have equal perimeters. Do they have equal perimeters? Yeah, they have the same perimeter. And rectangle P has a greater area.
No.
All right, let's look at our last one. The rectangles have equal perimeters. Is that true?
Yes.
Rectangle Q has a greater area.
Yes.
D is our best answer.
What would C be? Would it be like a 2? Yeah.
Probably a 2, just because this first part was correct. It was just the back section that wasn't correct. All right, I am going to give you our next problem. It will, if you wrote small, it can probably go under this problem. If not, you're going to glue it on the next blank page. While you're waiting, get out glue. You are not going to need scissors. All right, here's our problem. Oh, I wrote kind instead of king. Miss King, drew the following rectangle on the board. You have the same one on your paper. Which rectangle below has a smaller perimeter and a greater area than Miss King? I should not hear noise right now. So this tells me again that I am looking. All right. we're going to need to know what is the perimeter and the area. That means we need to know the perimeter and the area for the first shape. Go ahead and take some time. See if you can figure out what is the area and the perimeter of the shape that Miss King drew. We're not talking about any other shape right now. Just that first shape. When you've solved it, give me a secret thumb.
So we're solving this case.
Just Miss King.
Okay.
Yep. What would be an area equation I would use to find the area of this rectangle? What would I use as my equation? 3 people? No? Henley, what would be my equation? 8 times 3, 3 times 8, whatever you want to think about that, because we're thinking of this like an array. Area array. Join those 2 ideas in your brain. What is the product of 8 times 3? If you weren't sure, I would definitely start with 8 times 2, 2 groups of 8, and then count on 1 more group. 2 groups of 8 is 16, plus 1 more group, Bella, 24. That means our area is 24 square. Did it give us a unit? No. No unit, so it'll just be square unit.
Yeah.
Alright, what about our perimeter? What could be my equation to find the perimeter? What's the equation to find the perimeter, Michael?
8 plus 8.
8 plus 8. How did you know to do 8 plus 8? Because I only see 1 8.
That it looks like you were just doing array.
Yep.
So like, if you completely filled it in, it would be
Yeah, even though we've only filled in some of it, we do know that that length is also 8, and this length is also 3. So you've got 8 plus 8. Can you finish the equation? Plus 3 plus 3. What is the sum? What is the sum to find the perimeter? Because it's addition, we can add any parts together. Go in any order, we're still going to get a total. Henley? 22? Alright, so we know that our area is 24 and our perimeter is 22. I'm going to give you some time, because in order to figure out which one has a smaller perimeter and a greater or bigger area, you're going to need to figure out what is the area and perimeter for each of those shapes. Even if you think you find it, find the area and perimeter for each of those shapes. I'm going to give you some time to do that now. Go ahead and get started.
So we have to see the shape of the biggest area. The biggest area out of all.
Not the biggest area out of all of them. We're looking for a shape that has a smaller perimeter than Miss King's, so smaller than 22, but a greater area than Miss King's, so an area bigger than 24. All right, go ahead and start solving for area and perimeter. You can write on that paper, you can write on your notebook. Find the area and perimeter for all those shapes first. All right, let's talk about the equation for our area for answer choice A. What is the equation I'm going to use to solve for area of answer choice A? You should have this written in your notebook. 7? 5 times 5, because area in arrays. What is the equation for perimeter? Well?
5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5.
5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. Alright. right, let's move on to answer choice. I don't even know what this is. Is it C or B?
B.
All right, what is the area equation for this shape? Lincoln? What is the area equation for this shape?
The area?
The area equation.
7 times 4.
Perfect. Yes. 7 times 4. We've got 7 rows by 4 columns. We've got that area equation. What about the perimeter equation, Brayden?
Is 7 plus 7 plus 4 plus 4.
Perfect. What about our area equation down here? Michael? 10 times 2.
Wait, I found the one that's smaller.
All right. What about our perimeter equation? Go for it, Jackson.
10 plus 10 and 2 plus 2.
All right. Area equation for our last one. What's our area equation for the last one? Mason?
6.
Area equation.
6 times 6.
Perfect. And the perimeter equation. Go for it, Victor.
6 plus 6 equals. Let's have to give up something.
Well, so far you've only told me the distance from here to here.
6 plus 6 plus 6. And 1 more 6.
Good. All right. I think by now we've figured out the products or the sums. What is the best answer for this problem? Which rectangle has a smaller perimeter but a bigger area than Miss Kate? Michael's the only one that figured it out.
I did.
Logan figured it out. Logan, you figured it out?
It's A.
A. Answer is A.
Yeah.
All right. So our area was 25, and our perimeter was 20.
Wait.
7 times.
D is also.
No, the area.
Area is
Greater. The area is greater. The perimeter is smaller.
Yeah, it's 5.
Six. Yep.